Since I see myself as belonging broadly to the left of Indian politics, and have always, as it were, been there from my student days of activism, I'm particularly shocked how little attention the afflictions of the desperately poor get, even in the priorities of the left parties, in comparison with problems of the middle class and political perceptions of the Indian intellectuals. This is, of course, a general problem that has implications for all Indian citizens. It invites all of us to think about these questions and decide what we can do, and does not apply particularly to the IITians and the technically trained. But there is, I think, a special role of the technologically trained here in addressing and overcoming not only the attention deficit that these major problems get, but also finding practical solutions to our manifest shortcomings. Of course, the technical expertise is surely needed to deal with all questions of any complexity. But going beyond that general connection, I would like to argue that there is something of a cultural challenge in achieving which the IIT approach, and I'm going to discuss what it might be, has something special to contribute. Let me explain the point by returning to an issue which I tried to touch on in my lecture in the Parliament in August. In some ways, I treat this lecture as a follow-up to that parliamentary talk. In that lecture, I drew on a demarcation that has a clear role on Indian classical debates on justice. I'm afraid my friends and students know that my propensity to go into Sanskrit text is a little exaggerated, and this is partly because that was my second language, English was my third, and it's very difficult to shake off the influence of early reading. I'm finishing now a book called The Idea of Justice, and the word justice had many translations in Sanskrit, at least 25 or so. But there are two major words, and I think I'm going to possibly part company from the text here and get on with, well, I think I might read a few more pages. The two distinct words that are greatly important are niti and nyaya. Both mean justice, but not in the same sense. Niti is about institutions, about arrangements, including rules of behavior, not actual behavior, rules of behavior. Nyaya is realization, and the justice in realization, what happens. And I think that distinction is very big. I mean, among the Indian, actually, I'm going to abandon the text. Among the Indian classical legal theorists, those who discuss the nyaya and focus on it tend to emphasize what happens, no matter how good the rules are, institutions are. Whereas those who emphasize niti look at what are rules to follow, behavior patterns to follow. Just to give an example, if you take the big debate between Arjuna and Krishna in the Gita, in which Gita is seen as a religious document, it's assumed that Krishna won the argument. Krishna was making a point about niti, namely that it's your duty as a warrior to fight the battle, no matter what happens, independently of consequences. Nyaya would have asked the question, what are the consequences? That indeed is the question that Arjuna asks, namely that if I follow this niti, I will be ending, not only there will be a lot of people killed, but I will be myself killing a lot of people who are related to them. Remember that the battle of Kurukshetra is between two sides of the same family, and many people who have joined one side or the other, people with whom I have no quarrel other than this particular battle, I'll have to kill them. People for whom I have affection and have reason for affection. Krishna, of course, argued against, saying you must do your niti. In Mahabharata, actually, the Arjuna's questions don't go away, even though Gita might have thought to have won the argument. And actually, the victory of Gita is a source of great, in many ways, great amazement to me. Particularly amazing is the fact that Mahatma Gandhi, no less, quotes Krishna so often and the Gita as doing your duty, irrespective of consequence. The duty in this case is to fight a battle, kill people, and not worry about people dying. Now there is a kind of, beyond the material world, a metaphysical theory also. But the main invitation to duty is one to which Mahatma Gandhi could not be expected to warm, namely fight and kill. And indeed, in many contexts, he has argued as to why you should never do that.